Today we have joining me Alex Kim. He has been a previous guest on this podcast, and I've invited him back for another episode. Welcome, Alex.
Yeah. Hello, guys and girls. Thank you for having me, Alan.
Of course.
It's always a pleasure.
Of course. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
So, could you give me maybe like a little update on your life? So what's been going on? Is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience?
Oh, okay.
Anything exciting?
Yeah, sure. Wow, you switched it up. Usually it's what's your story type of deal. But okay, switching it up a little bit. Yeah, so some life updates. I'm in just moved. So I moved to El Segundo area. And then what else am I doing? Just like working a little bit, still doing well with Bea and all them. For those of you that don't know, Bea is my girlfriend, my lovely girlfriend. So
also a previous guest.
Yeah, also a previous guest as well. So yeah, just been doing that. Finished moving, finished working today. So just got here right now.
Yeah.
And then just been slowly building out better habits for myself, little by little. So for example, after work, then I'll just go to the gym and then eat like a protein shake.
Yeah.
Get back home, knock out and start over. So some days, like I was telling you earlier, it feels a little repetitive, but at the same time, there's a lot that I'm learning every day and growing every day by. So it's a fun adventure. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm curious a little bit on your workout like routine regimen.
Sure, yeah.
Because my previous guest I had on that was a climber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he helped me a lot with like training, like exercises, just overall health tips.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, where are you in terms of your journey of like fitness, and like where do you want to be?
Okay.
Like end goal. Like where do you see yourself by the time that you idealize or you reach the ideal version of yourself?
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the beginning stages. Like I've been hitting the gym for maybe about a month now.
Okay.
But I try to just implement it into my routine. So after work, then I'll go straight to the gym right after. Because if I go home and I hit the bed, oh my goodness, it's like the death trap. I'm just stuck in it.
Yeah.
So I just hit it right after. And then I rotate depending on the day. I'll do like chest and try, back by, and then legs and abs. And then some days I'll throw in some cardio, some shoulders.
Yeah.
Just depending on what day it really is. But the main reason why I've been going, it's not just to be like super buff and like jacked and looking super strong. It's mainly just because I've been looking to build better habits and finding new ways to release dopamine, right?
Yeah.
And exercise is a great way to do that.
It is.
So for those of you that don't know, there are other ways that my body was looking to release dopamine, right? So whether that be through games or through like just other ways, right?
Yeah, there's a multitude of other ways.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a multitude.
Yeah. So I'm finding better ways to be able to release that.
Right.
And then I know you take cold showers, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I started implementing just
Okay.
because you were telling me about the benefits of it and whatnot. So I find it actually really helpful.
That's great.
Yeah, I feel refreshed after. I feel great. Like I feel energized. I feel pumped. Like I feel
like
I can
ready
climb
to go.
a mountain or something.
Yeah.
So going back to the routine, it's just that's mainly what I've been doing. But my end goal is really just to build better habits at the end of the day. Yeah, because I didn't have the best habits for a while. It was like just me doing like whatever my mind was telling me, like, oh, this sounds fun, or like I want to do this, right? And I'm like, okay, let's go do it, right?
It's like following your impulse.
Exactly, right? But I realized I need to be able to control those impulses one way or another. And it's ultimately going to allow me to become a better person at the end of the day, right? Because if you just continue following that path of like hedonism and pleasure, right? There's going to be so much that your body can't take anymore, and like the things that seemed fun in the past aren't as fun moving forward in the future, right?
Right.
So that's currently what I'm doing, like trying to reset that, or trying to find that balance and equilibrium again, just so I can start to find more joy in even the simplest of things.
Right.
Right. So that's like the biggest reason why I've just been hitting the gym. Okay. It's mainly because of that.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you're using the gym and exercise as a way to, as like a pathway for you to mostly focus on building better habits.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm focusing on. Yeah. How about you? Because you also work out. You work out a lot, and you're jacked. For those of you that don't know, like Alan is the like Greek Roman statue of a man. Like this man is built.
I think the main motivation for me working out is health related.
Okay.
Because I place a very high emphasis on my physical well-being.
Yeah.
And so working out, I do it more for my health than any other reason.
Okay.
Yeah, because I value health. It's like one of my top priorities in life to be healthy, which is why like I work out so much.
Yeah. I mean, the results are there. You know, it shows for itself.
Yeah.
So I'm 100%. Glad to see that you're very healthy to this day, Alan.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm glad you started working out, and I hope you keep on the path, because it's about consistency.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, keep on going.
For sure. Yeah. Like even when I don't want to, I think for me those are the days I have to go.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be a million things where I don't want to do in life, right? Like, I don't want to wake up today. I'm tired, or I don't want to do this. But those days that you really do push through during those times, it really builds like that resilience. And that's what I'm slowly recognizing as I'm able to go and better myself each and every day. So I'm definitely going to be continuing it. Hopefully you can go rock climbing too again.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, bet.
So circling back just a little bit, I do recall that in the previous episode that I brought you on, you did also talk about a period of your life where you followed your hedonistic behavior.
Yeah.
And that it was like a driving force for wanting to change in your life. And I'm like interested that you bring it up again, because it sounds like it's something that was really impactful in changing you to be who you are today. How do you think you've progressed along since the last time that you spoke about it? Like you speak about building better and healthier habits.
Yeah.
And you said that exercising was one of them. Do you feel like you've progressed further as a result of building that habit of working out? And are there other habits that you're trying to develop, or that you have developed in steering away from that hedonistic path?
Yeah, no, for sure. Excuse me. So steering away from that path has been like a very big push in my life. And that's mainly because, there was a time when we're not perfect, right? We're all very sinful. We have a lot of like negative stuff that may occur sometimes in our lives. And so that's really what pushed me towards that path initially. But I realized that path that I was taking, right, whether it be drinking or just going out, just traveling. If I just like, I see a place, I'm like, ooh, I want to go there. And I just straight take off to, I don't know, Japan or somewhere, right? I've come to realize that was not the right way. And that's because each day that I was just continually pursuing that, it's like the next day I felt even more empty than before. And so when I start to build these better habits, like, exercising regularly, going out for walks, or even just pushing myself to days that I don't even want to do something, but I know it's beneficial to my body, right? Like, who likes to take cold showers? Initially, no, I hated them. But every single day, like when I started facing that water head on, right? it's a completely different story once you come out of it. It's like, wow, I really was able to push through that, and now I'm actually enjoying them.
Yeah.
So yeah, besides just the habits of working out, you know, there's also been other things that I didn't want to do, but I'm still like pushing myself to do. So for example, like when we moved, usually I'll just leave all the boxes and just like another day. Yeah, it's fine. I'll push it out for another day. Yeah. But instead it's like, okay, well, if I can take it one day at a time, all right, like just focus on a couple boxes a day, figure out where to put each item in its dedicated place, then it's like I have a little bit of more control over over being able to like move everything where I want it to be. Right. And so like, so that's another thing that I've been doing. It's like each and every day, just slowly working on unpacking, unboxing everything, still in the process of it. But like, as I'm slowly doing that, I'm seeing how everything is falling into place correctly, like specifically in the house. Right. Whereas before, you know, I don't know if you saw me a couple of weeks ago, but do you remember when I had my like mustache and goatee going? Yeah, I couldn't find my shaver, right? But great news. I found it. Exactly. Okay, and so I was able to shave it all off. It's like a fresh start again. And so I feel so much better now that I have that again. So yeah, it's just each and every day. It's kind of like a little opening up a box of mysteries. It's like, ooh, what's in this box? And then I'll find some cool things that I haven't seen in a while too. Yeah. Like I found like a plaque where I was like 9 years old, but it was when I had a hole in one. It was my first and only hole in one ever in golf. And I didn't even remember that like I had that plaque. And then I pulled it out. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. So it's just like finding new treasures. Yeah. And then it's like really, it's a cool journey like along the whole way. Yeah, for sure. Wait, was that your question? I don't know if I completely like veered off, but what was like the question again? I apologize.
Oh no. Like I enjoyed the whole thing about like your experience moving.
Sure, yeah.
It was basically just like, how have you progressed? How do you feel that you've progressed in terms of like steering away from the hedonistic path?
Oh, okay.
Like, have you built other habits that have helped you develop a healthy sense of like just separating yourself from that direction?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, mainly it's just been working out and then just building up better habits regularly. So instead, like I'll actually set timers for things now. So like waking up, eating a meal at a specific time, then hitting the gym at a specific time. But I kind of have a timer, and then I also made like a planner to like schedule everything out too. Yeah. But it's really been helping me formulate those better habits to kind of push myself away from following that pleasure-seeking path, right?
Right.
And then there's still like a couple things that I am working on. You know, I'm not at the place that I want to be just yet, but with that, there's a lot that I've been learning along the way about myself and about the growth that I'm seeing and I want to see even more in the future. So it's been really awesome. Yeah. I hope that answers it.
Yeah. No, that does. It does. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah.
I love that for you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I think you brought up a very important point, which is scheduling. Like having put things down in your schedule really helps you to organize your time around specific things that you need to do. And it makes sure that you dedicate time for that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like you said, it becomes easy to just like spend your time on impulse. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Without having specific direction in terms of what you want to spend time on. I think that's a really useful thing. Like a really important thing to take in life.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the bigger reasons why I was also scheduling is because I don't have the best memory. So like some days I'll make plans and then it totally slips my mind like the next couple of days. Yeah. And then I feel terrible after, right? If I miss out on that, just because I know it takes a lot of time from like the other person too, and I want to be able to respect that. Yeah. So then when I don't write it down and I completely forget about it, then I just feel like absolutely terrible the next
Yeah,
the next day.
yeah.
So I made sure like to start writing everything down,
Mhm.
just to slowly build up that memory again. Make
Yeah.
sure it's like flowing, the juices are flowing, right?
Mhm.
And so yeah, definitely scheduling has been a big help throughout that for sure.
Yeah.
Do you schedule at all, or do you kind of just do it all by your memory?
I schedule my events. So if there's something specific that I'm having that I set plans for, I would put it in my calendar, like my Google app. Just like the calendar app on my phone, to set a reminder. And so I can, like, if I look through the app itself, I can just scroll through the month, the different days, and see if I have an event on this day or if I have something planned. Other than that, though, I don't have anything. I don't have like a daily schedule, like broken down into the hours or minutes. But in terms of like integrating daily habits, I try to just do things around the same time every day.
Oh, gotcha.
That way it becomes easy. Like, oh, I should be doing this around this time, so that I can do it repetitively without having to like think too much about it.
Yeah. It's like it becomes second nature. Your body just like knows. Like, I think I got to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you use Google Calendar. That's what you said.
It's just the calendar app in our phones.
Oh yeah.
For iOS.
Oh, that one. Okay,
yeah.
got you.
So
wow, dude,
it's pretty easy.
Dude, I have
simple.
like a pink little flower calendar going. That's not what you have. You
No.
just do it on the phone? Oh, okay.
Does it work out for you?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay.
It fills me with happiness every day. Look at
Okay.
it. Flowers. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's like aesthetically pleasing like that, it's gotta be nice.
yeah, it makes my day, man.
Yeah.
Just look at some
it
flowers.
sounds nice. It sounds nice. Yeah. Yeah. Open up the calendar every time. It's flowers.
Just flowers. Yeah. How can you not be happy when you see flowers? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
really nice.
That's what it is.
Okay. So, we did mention. I want to talk a little bit about your relationship with Bea.
Ooh, okay.
Because, I talked about your relationship, Bea's relationship with you, which is basically the same thing, just from her perspective.
Okay.
Right. So I kind of want to understand like your perspective on it.
Yeah. I'm an open book, man.
Okay. Lovely. Something that's actually the first question that I have is, what do you think are some elements that have made your relationship with Bea successful?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So I would say there's 3 of the biggest things that made our relationship specifically successful. I mean, it may not work for every relationship, but it's just specifically to her and my relationship that made it work. So the first one has to be religion. The second one has to be patience. And the third one would have to be communication. Okay. Now, in regards to the first one, Bea has been a huge like rock in my life, right? So, for example, when I was going through a little bit of difficulties in the past, you know, there was a lot of times where I was kind of angry and blaming God in a sense, right? Like, oh, like why is this all happening? Right. Yada yada yada. But Bea actually was like always there. She's always cheering me on. And then one of the biggest things she said to me was that he doesn't give his battles to his weakest or his strongest soldiers. He gives them to the weaker ones, knowing that they're going to be able to push through and continue to rely on him. And so I thought about that, and I was taken aback for a second, right? Like I was thinking, well, why wouldn't he just give it to the strong ones who can kind of overcome them? Yeah. And then as it was dawning on me, I realized that, oh, it's because we need to continue to kind of put our faith and trust in him, knowing that even though the battle seems very difficult in that moment, it's still possible with him to be able to overcome that. And so through her, it's like she's opened my eyes more to that love that like God really provides. And I'm not saying I'm like the perfect Christian, or I'm not like saying any of that at all. I'm still considering myself a work in progress.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of values and like teachings that I've gotten to learn through her specifically, and a lot of moments that I've got to share with her where it was a powerful moment between her, God, and I. And so with that, I feel like our relationship has really strengthened just because we do have that key element of like having God in our lives. Now, at the same time, and then we also, we'll do praise and worship together, and then we go to like church together, and so it really, really helps whenever we have like just struggles in our life.
Yeah.
And then the second one, it was patience. So I'm not gonna lie, she may not. Wait, hold on. All right, if she's listening to this, I still love her. Okay, like initially, she wasn't the most patient person, right? And there was some anger that may have came out during certain problems that arose, right?
Of course.
But over time, I would say she has grown a lot in regards to that, and she has become definitely a lot more patient than she was before. And so by just us being patient with each other and not getting really angry over small arguments and just being able to work through them together and trying to understand the other person's perspective instead of just trying to impose your own has really been beneficial. But in order to do that, it leads me to my third point of communication, right? Because if we're not able to really effectively communicate how we're feeling or how the other person's feeling, then sometimes they may not feel heard or you may not feel heard.
Right.
So learning how to say, hey, like, I see your perspective on this, and like really understanding the emotions that come with that, like how she feels, just being able to understand those emotions, and then also being able to express yours in a conducive manner where it's very like friendly, amicable, and no one's yelling at each other or trying to just push their idea on the others has been really beneficial. So those are probably the three biggest things that has really allowed us to grow as a couple. And I'm excited to be able to grow even more moving forward with her. Yeah. So it's been awesome. It's been an awesome journey so far.
Yeah. It sounds like throughout your journey with her, you've learned a lot in terms of those three, religion, patience, patience and communication. Do you feel that you've improved those skills at a personal level because of your experience with her in the relationship?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the first one I've improved a lot in terms of our relationship with God.
Right.
And that's because like I said before, I was going through like difficult times and I was really angry at the world, right? So this was all when like my parents split. I was like moving houses. I didn't really feel like I had too many people to like talk to because I didn't feel like a lot of people could understand like the emotions that I was going through during that time, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you like some people can be there physically, but it's difficult to be there a little bit more emotionally if they weren't able to really experience it. But I've come to realize like that's not important because our friends are going to be there for us and family and other people always at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter if they can feel how we feel in that moment or not, but being able to express it to them so that their understanding of how you're feeling and how that's really beneficial at the end of the day. So that's something I have been working on, just like being able to reach out to other people, kind of seeing or like just expressing myself more. But during that time, I was really just frustrated at like the world, right? I was literally thinking like, why is this happening to me? Like, man, I don't need anyone. I was very like almost arrogant in a way, right? And it just because there was so much anger and like emotion that I couldn't let out, and it was just stuck inside me.
Yeah.
So I remember specifically there was one day I said, you know what, like I'm just gonna do me. I don't care what other people think. I don't really care about anything else. I'm just gonna focus on me. And that was that path of hedonism that I was kind of following, which I mentioned earlier. Right. So that was the worst time of my life. I'm not gonna lie, even though it seems like it would have been the most fun, right? Because I was golfing every day. I was going on trips, grabbing some beers here and there. Yeah. And it seems like a great life, but that was the worst time of my life. I'm not gonna lie. And so I realized that, it's important for me to really reach out to other people and then also rely on, like God was a big thing during that time too. So tying it all together, I'm not like the perfect Christian, but that's something that she has definitely helped me specifically on. But with that, I was able to learn a lot about like the love that she shares and that other people also have for me. So, I've been working on, not having such a high ego or such a big ego anymore, just letting it go and like really opening up, reaching out to people, learning how to like communicate again, just figure out, because everyone's going through problems, right? It's like, as long as we're all there for each other, that's the biggest thing. So during that was like a very bad time during my life. And I'm sure like a lot of people felt it too, right? Like I wasn't really talking to people at some time. I'm just like sitting there, just like just listening and not really talking as much. So slowly breaking out of that shell again, trying to be a little more friendly, say, hey, what's up? Talk to some people again. But that's where I'm at right now in regards to that.
No, I love that. I do recall like there was a time when like it was just as you described, like you it felt like you were a little bit disconnected from our friend group
for sure
for a period of time. But I'm glad you're back.
I mean,
you were never really truly gone, but just not as present.
For sure.
For sure. But I do appreciate you, and
thanks, man. I appreciate you too, Alan. I've known you for so long now. You are like my family member. You're like a brother to me. So man, I love you. I appreciate you always, Alan.
Thank you.
Always a good time to see you.
Likewise.
Yeah. We're getting back into it. Getting back into the groove, coming back out. So not so much disconnected.
Just a little break.
It's just took a little break. I'm back now. Vacation's over. We're done. Back in it.
Okay. So I want to come back to religion a little bit later.
Sure. Yeah.
So another question that I have is because of your recent move, you're pretty far, or not, well, you're a little bit further from Bea than you used to be.
Yeah.
So how has that impacted your relationship? Put a strain on it, or?
Well, I would say, we've always been pretty good at adjusting, right? Like if she's going to school and I'm going to school, just kind of respecting each other's schedules and being able to find as much time as possible and make time for each other. So, before we would see each other pretty often, but now it's kind of been like leveled down to maybe once or twice a week. So usually on Fridays to Saturdays, those are the days that I'll mainly see for her or see her. But I wouldn't say it negatively impacted our relationship at all. Just because we do have that understanding of one another's schedules. So once we're able to kind of work around that, we're still figuring it out. There's a couple nooks and crannies that we're figuring out, but it's going to get to a point where we realize like, okay, this is healthy for us both, right? Like these days and these days at this time, we can do like this and this, right? And so even though some days I'm like really exhausted, I still like do my best on those days, because those are the only days I get to see her. And it's always like a great time when I am able to see her. So I always get filled with energy after again. But for the most part, it hasn't been too difficult of a change. I'd like to see her more if possible, but with the current schedules we have, it's just a little difficult. So just small adjustments, minor changes here and there. Yeah, tighten a couple screws.
Yeah, you just see what works.
Yeah,
what
exactly. It's like trial and error.
Yeah.
Right? Just try one thing. Oh, that didn't work. She's mad. Try another one.
Maybe not that way.
Yeah. Oh, tighten that one too much. I got it unscrewed a bit. So it's just figuring that out too.
Yeah. Okay. So now, so going back to religion.
Yeah. Okay.
So in terms of your relationship with God, and just religion in general.
Yeah.
Do you hold the belief that religion comes first in life?
That religion comes first in life?
Yes.
So that's something that I do agree with, but I'm not there yet, right? So I do believe that we should place God like above everything, right? Including our families, including our like significant others. But that's very hard that concept is it's kind of difficult to grasp, right? Because it's like, whoa, above my mom, above like my dad, right? And so it's something that I'm still struggling with myself, but I do believe that once I can get to that moment, if and when I do, my life will change, right? And it's because I'm not holding on to anything myself, but I'm giving it all to God, right? I'm saying, hey, like I trust in you, and I believe that you have the control to do what you want. And obviously, the plans that He has, they're not to hurt us, but they're to help us and to allow us to grow at the end of the day. So it's a difficult concept that I'm currently going through, but I do believe in it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I have heard from different people that share that belief, that believe that God should come first before anything else. Which it kind of just struck me as interesting. Like it makes sense logically to me, even though I'm an atheist, or I'm agnostic because I don't technically believe in God or Christianity. But I just thought that it was an interesting concept, especially within relationships.
Yeah.
Right. Because I've heard people or Christian people say that God should come before everything else. So before yourself, before family, before a significant other. And I feel like it's a difficult thing to reach, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's definitely tough because you're essentially giving up everything to Him, right?
Right.
And as people, we're not like really wired for that, right? Because people are innately very like selfish in a way, right? They want to grow things more for themselves. It's about like kind of having that ego in a little bit of a manner.
Yeah.
But with that, it becomes difficult, right? Because that's like a battle between you and God against like me versus you in a way, or God in a way, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I was saying like earlier, it is a difficult concept to grasp, and I'm still in the process of grasping it myself.
Yeah.
But each and every day, when I do have days where I just give it to Him, like those days seem so much better than the ones where I try to do it on my own. And I say this because during that time period in the past when I was doing it on my own, it was the worst time of my life, right? Yeah. Like I realized I could not do it on my own. And by giving and surrendering to Him, there have been so many blessings that have come my way, right? Like I was so blinded, right? I was just thinking, oh, why is He doing this to me? Why is this happening? But I didn't even see the number of blessings that have been surrounding me that entire time, right? Like I have a great group of friends, right? I have like you, I have every single one of our friends that we have.
Yeah.
And I have like my family, like my brother, Bea. I have a great like church group that I'm really loving right now. And everyone is so special to me, and they have helped me become the person who I am today. And
Mhm.
I've always been surrounded by this, right? But I've never just learned how to count my blessings, right?
Mm.
And I feel just so like loved and so rich, not monetary or not in regards to like money rich, right?
Right.
But just rich in love and
Right.
rich in blessings. Like I just feel amazing.
Yeah,
like, that's what it is. Like I'm just so surrounded by the best of the best out there.
Mm.
And it's an amazing feeling. Yeah, I'm just so happy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like kind of the realization that I've had along that journey.
Mhm.
It's none of that other stuff is gonna make you happy, right? Like
Yeah.
golfing every day or, you know, drinking or
Yeah.
just doing whatever your impulses kind of tell you. None of those things, like temporarily, yeah, they may make you happy, but
Mhm.
besides that, they're not gonna make you happy in the long run.
Right.
But making sure to count my blessings and
Mhm.
realizing how much love we all have for each other and for others, that's what I've been mainly looking at.
Mm.
Mm.
It sounds like it's given you a greater appreciation for everything in life, like just more gratitude for
Oh,
what
yeah.
you have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I'm very grateful.
Uh-huh.
You know, like we have like a roof over our head. We have
Yeah.
pillows to sleep on,
Mhm.
blankets. Like there's some kids that don't even have that. You know,
Yeah.
we have phones and we just overlook them. Like they're
Yeah.
nothing, right?
Yeah. We have whole
dude,
computers
yeah,
in
we
our
have whole
pockets.
computers.
In our pockets. Yeah.
Exactly. We got arms and legs. You know, if you didn't have those, it'd be more difficult to climb, right? I'm not saying it would be
course.
impossible because
Yeah.
I support people that may not have that opportunity to have maybe one of those pieces attached to their body. But I'm saying it would be a little more difficult. But yeah, like
course.
we're just so blessed.
Yeah.
Is all I'm trying
Yeah.
to say at the end of it. Yeah. So just, it's been a beautiful journey so far.
Wow.
And still have a lot to learn and grow from.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Wow, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, thanks, man.
In terms of approaching the acceptance of the belief or like the embodiment of placing God above all,
Mhm.
It kind of sounds like it's the epitome of selflessness.
Mm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of selflessness that does come with that, right?
Mhm.
Because you're not thinking about yourself anymore.
Yeah.
You're thinking about giving it to him and doing things that can help glorify his name, right? And so that's why I also say I'm not like the perfect Christian and I'm still a work in progress because
Yeah.
there have been things that I've done that hasn't glorified his name. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of sins that I've committed in the past as well, which
Mhm.
hasn't made me the person who I'd like to be.
Mm.
So yeah, with all that in mind, there is a lot of selflessness that does come with that.
Yeah.
So it's been like a huge learning curve for me.
Uh-huh.
But it's been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's all a journey.
It's a huge journey.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, I mean,
Uh-huh.
I
Go
forgot.
for it,
I
go
wanted
for
to add one thing, and I just remembered what it was.
Yeah.
So during that part of like selflessness and kind of giving it to him,
Mhm.
one of the biggest things I've learned was learning how to forgive, right?
Mm.
And so initially, you know, there was like that huge anger in me, right?
Yeah.
Just angry at like family, angry at like God, angry at even some friends, right? Just because, yeah, I was just angry, just an angry guy in general. But I've realized that the actions that I've kind of taken really hurt some people along that process.
Mhm.
And so one, being able to not forgive, but apologize, right? And
Mm.
say like, hey, I messed up and I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I did this and it
Mhm.
impacted you like this. And it's not going to happen again moving forward. And like, I apologize, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, publicly, I want to apologize to you too, right? I want to say, yo, I'm very sorry because there was a time
Mhm.
where, you know, I wasn't I was very shelled up. I wasn't really reaching out to people.
Yeah.
And I want to apologize because, I felt like I kind of pushed you away, and like a lot of people away too at that time, right? When I should have been able to, reach out, because you are my brother, you are my family, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's something that I am working on, like being able to reconnect and grow with all of you guys and be able to smile and laugh. And so I do want to apologize for that past self that I was. And I hope you can forgive me and also allow me to grow together with you as well, because something that, I'd love to be able to do, seeing you go from a V2 to now a V14 million really allows me to see growth in the end. And so, I hope you can forgive me. And, bygones become bygones.
No, thank you. I accept your apology. And
hey, thanks, man.
You're forgiven. Like, there was never like hard feelings against you.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah. And we all have our ups and downs, and like there was never a time when I felt like I blamed you, or a time when I felt like you wronged me. Like our relationship has also had ups and downs.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't put any of it on you.
Okay, so, I mean, that's great to hear. Yeah. But I just wanted to tell you that just because, it's been on my mind.
Yeah.
I did feel bad for how I may have acted in the past. And so looking to better that moving forward. So I appreciate you accepting that apology.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Hey, I love you, man.
I love you too.
I'll give you a hug, right now, but you know what? Let me just move this mic real quick. Come here. Alan, I love you. Yes, sir. And we back to it.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of your anger, I'm curious, like, how have you resolved that within yourself? I think I already know like a big part of it, or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it feels like a big part of it had to do with your relationship with God, with coming to terms with that, and also Bea helping guide you along that path.
Yeah.
Can you just walk me through like the process you use to deal with anger? Because I know a lot of people deal with anger, and it's a very unhealthy emotion.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Especially if you keep it like like bottled up within yourself.
Oh yeah, that's when it gets terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want me to just walk you through kind of like how, okay, for sure. So I would say before I was angry, a lot of people, I guess, kind of knew me as someone like always happy, right? Like very bubbly, being able to just like talk to other people, just connect with other people.
Really sociable.
Right, like sociable, like just friendly. And like I was never really taken on as someone that was very angry, right?
Yeah.
And that's because when I was younger too, like my brother and I, when we get into fights, like we would go at it, right? So I used to be an angry child. Like we used to get really mad at each other and like start fighting. Now, I've come to control that moving into like that like friendly period where I was very sociable, right? Just because I didn't want to hurt anyone, right? Because I have hurt like my brother in the past, for example.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that to anyone. So when I was kind of given that image in a sense of like always being happy, it's kind of tough because there's like some days where I may not be happy, but like I have to kind of live up to the exactly, right? Yeah, exactly. Like live up to that expectation. So then after high school, moving into like college area, that's when I started to get a little bit more angry, but I didn't, I guess, know how to really express it outwardly, right? It would always be kept inside. And it's because I was scared that if that anger did come out,
it would explode.
I would explode, right? Like walls would be broken or something, right? Fires would be started. Yeah. So I've always just kind of kept that in me. And so over the years, I've realized that that anger inside me like stayed in me for a while, right? And
Yeah.
it wasn't healthy, like definitely not healthy. I felt like something was eating at me away like every single day.
Yeah.
And so when I kind of stopped being a little bit more sociable and like was just more to myself, saying I don't need any of this, and this, right? Like I'm just gonna do me. That's when I was the most angry, I would say, at the world. And one of the biggest ways that I was able to get through that was definitely with Bea and God, right? Because they're the ones that have really, really stuck it through thick and thin, right?
Yeah.
And I've come to learn how to be able to express it more outwardly. And that's why I am really big on like reaching out to other people, you know, communicating, trying to figure out like if everything's okay or if it's not okay, because I realized that holding all of that in and like bottling it up, you'll go crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was like a patient, just like in one of those, what are
the
those?
straight arm jackets?
Straight arm jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I felt like, and it was like having a hold on me almost. So one of the biggest things was definitely God and Bea, and then also like my family too, just being able to express like how I was feeling more in that moment with them, and then just expressing it to like friends as well too. That's why now I'm a very open book. Like before I was very closed off because I was just thinking, oh yeah, it's fine, you know, like I'm good, I'm happy, I'm chilling. But nah, I realized I gotta be a little bit more open and and be able to express how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Even if it's happy or sad, right? Like that's the reason why we all have each other. It's to be there through all of our ups and downs.
Yeah.
And so now I'm a open book. Like if you ask me any question, like I'm more than happy to answer it. And I could give like the best experience and advice that I have. It may not be the best experience, right? It's just my experience, and it may not be the best advice, but it's what like I went through and like how I kind of came out on top of it. So it may not work for everyone, right? Like
of course,
the stuff that I was talking about with Bea earlier, right? Like that's not the secret recipe to a great relationship.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for everyone, and my advice or experience may not also be the same, but it's just, you know, having a new perspective and insight as to how I was able to kind of get through that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay. So just to like reword kind of what you said, basically just like the most important thing that you should focus on is to find a healthy way to express your anger.
Exactly.
Rather than bottle it up. And you need an outlet.
Yeah.
You need some source, some way that you can express your feelings and let those around you know exactly how you're feeling, so that you can better deal with your own relationships, as well as allow people to treat you with the space that you might need, or whatever other needs you might have.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, you know, no one's a mind reader. No one knows like what's going on specifically in each other's lives. And so like one day they may be feeling great, but another day they may just need like some space and whatnot. But you're not going to be able to know that if you don't like talk to them or ask them, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I've come to realize. And so just being able to find a healthy outlet to be able to express how you're feeling and be able to communicate that. It's what's been helping me, alongside with, you know, all the other things I mentioned before. So that's my answer.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
How about you? What are some, like, do you have like healthy outlets that you kind of currently utilize to get through either difficult situations or just like things you're dealing with?
Yeah, like outlets. I'd say my biggest are working out, journaling, and meditation. Yeah, so physical exercise would be like an outlet for excessive energy.
Okay.
And then journaling and meditation both are for me to better reflect on my own emotions, to kind of get a better grasp of how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling. Because sometimes you don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, like you ever have those moments where you just feel this intense emotion,
Yeah.
but you can't place your name on it. Like that's something that happens to me quite often, actually.
Okay. Do you have an example? I'm like, just so I can kind of grasp it a little further.
Yeah. So most of the time for this, actually, it's just it's anger. It's anger. It's actually mostly frustration.
Okay.
And so I use meditation and journaling as ways to better channel and direct my thoughts in terms of like what am I angry about? What about my life is something that I feel because anger is an emotion where you feel was it unjustified? No, that's the wrong word. Like you were wronged.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Anger is a feeling that arises when you feel that you were wronged. And so I ask myself, like, why do I feel like I was wronged? In what situation? And why? Why did this emotion arise? And so it kind of just helps me clarify my thoughts.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So those are like the main ways that I deal with emotions, or like negative emotions, like anger is one of them. But as you know, I used to have anger management issues back when we were very young. But I mean, I've grown past that phase.
Yeah, that's on the past.
Yeah, I've grown past that phase. But yeah, I've had my fair issues with anger. So I've come to learn how to better manage my anger.
Oh, okay. Right? Yeah. I love that.
Better that. Yeah.
And that's mainly been through like the meditation, journaling.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. Wow. That's really interesting, just because I was also looking into journaling too, just to like get my thoughts clear and on paper. But now that you kind of mentioned it and like talk about how it's actually really benefited you, it's something that I'm going to start figuring out and doing myself. Yeah.
I think you should. I highly recommend journaling just as a practice of like organizing your thoughts, trying to clarify just exactly what it is that like you're thinking. Because getting things out on paper is a whole different act of reflecting on your thoughts, on your life, on your day, whatever it is. It helps clarify a lot of things.
Okay.
So I think journaling is a very impactful self-reflection tool.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. So do you mainly, when you journal, is it more like how you're feeling about like the day and like your emotions, or is it is it just anything that you kind of feel like writing out?
Yeah. So mainly in terms of journaling, I actually only extensively journal, or like I only journal a lot on days where I feel like something went wrong, or like something I need to think about, I need to sort out my thoughts on, that I'm like confused about. Because that helps me like clarify those thoughts. But I don't journal every day.
Oh, okay.
So I don't do like a daily journal log. I do, however, do like a gratitude log.
Oh.
That's something that I've been trying to do more of, just to like reach the same point that you did in terms of like counting your blessings.
Yeah.
Being grateful for what we have. That's something that I think like I can definitely benefit from.
Okay, yeah.
Use more of in my life.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't know, I started journaling, I tried. Okay. Like,
yeah,
I tried, but when I started, it wasn't about my thoughts or like how I was feeling. I
Yeah.
just started writing essays
What?
because I didn't know how it worked.
Uh-huh.
And the only like writing that I've done is with essays. So I literally just started writing essays to clear up. So I don't think I went about it the right way. So I'm glad that you kind of opened up a new door because I like your way a little bit more. I'm gonna have to try that one for sure.
Yeah, you don't have to give yourself English homework.
Yeah, dude, I was like, this sucks, man. Yeah, so I'm glad that there's a new way of journaling that I can attack.
It's a whole structured essay: intro, body, conclusion,
actually, TPR, like topic, position, rationale, everything. I had it all laid out. But
wow.
I like your way a lot more, 100%.
Yeah, I think you should definitely give it a try.
Okay.
For anyone listening as well, journaling it's a very great resource. It's a good daily habit as well.
Yeah.
You're trying to build good habits. It's a really good self-reflection habit. Yeah.
Okay. You guys heard it first from Mr. Brew himself.
Just one thing I wanted to say on the topic of anger. It's this quote by Buddha.
Okay.
He says that anger is when you drink poison and expect the other person to die.
Huh. Hold on, let me think about that for a couple seconds. Drink poison.
Yeah. Yeah. Anger is when you drink poison and expect the other person to die.
How does that work? I'm trying
to. So the basic premise of it, that the way that I interpreted it, is that your anger towards someone is poison to yourself. So your anger, the emotion that you feel towards someone else, it's not hurting them. It's not changing their life in any way. There's no direct impact unless you act on it, which changes the whole story, right?
Yeah.
But the emotion is something that you hold within yourself, right? It's like something, if you keep bottled up, will destroy you.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And so it'll eat you up from the inside. It's poison.
Oh.
So yeah, it's a very interesting way of thinking about it.
Yeah,
right?
it's a cool, definitely a cool way to think about that.
Yeah. So I think keeping that in mind also is like, it's very helpful in terms of like dealing with the emotion of anger itself.
Yeah. I mean, unless you love poison, then it's just. I mean,
that's another story.
Yeah, that's
another story.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. I definitely like that quote for sure.
Of course. Okay. What are you currently learning right now?
Ooh, what am I learning right now? Like, in regards to what?
Anything. Like your any hobbies, any specific interests, anything that's. I'm just curious about like learning, like.
Okay, sure, yeah. Let's see. Right now, I'm learning how to communicate better. So, like I said earlier, during that period where I was pretty distant and I was closed off, pushing everyone away.
Yeah.
I'm relearning how to communicate with other people, both in regards to my feelings and if they're open to it, their feelings too. So it's been really beneficial for me because I've got to share like the love that I have for someone and also express that express the difficulties that I was able to go through, but still knowing that they like kind of loved and supported me. It's been really beneficial in my like talks with other people. Yeah. So communication is a big one. Learning how to just be better at speaking, more well-versed, articulate, and just being able to talk to other people, opening myself up again. And then I'm also learning how to, let's see,
Would you mind if I interrupt your thought?
Yeah, of
real
course.
quick? I think it's interesting that you bring up the idea of, or like that you say you still want to learn how to communicate better,
Mhm.
because I feel like you already have a very good grasp of how to communicate effectively,
Okay.
especially um, because of everything that you've gone through, um, and your relationship with Bea.
Hmm.
Um, do you feel like there's room to improve and that it could be better?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm not anywhere near where I want to be in
Mm,
regards to even communicating, right?
yeah.
Like there's so much that I have to learn
Hmm.
because communication is not only about the words, right? It's
Right.
about there's so much other things to it. There's like body language,
Yeah.
tonality, like hey, hey, right?
Yeah.
Like there's totally different ways that you can communicate a word.
Yeah.
And so there's so much that I still need to learn in regards to that.
Hmm.
And even when it comes to expressing emotions, there's a
Mm,
lot that I have to learn too,
yeah.
because I was not one to really open up to other people.
Right.
I was more to myself and always giving off the persona of, just being this happy guy. But
Hmm.
by learning how to communicate and express how I feel in that moment,
Yeah.
it's allowed me to grow a lot, I would say.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm done growing, right? I still have so much to learn. I have so many things to like read and
Yeah.
explore and new people to meet and
Yeah.
places to go. And it's an entire journey, right? Like
Mhm.
the way that I would describe it, it's like an adventure book, and we're still writing our next chapters in that book. We have no idea where it's going to take us, but it's amazing, like the entire process.
Yeah.
And through it all, being able to communicate is
Mhm.
something that I still have to learn in that book of
Yeah.
adventures that we're all traveling on.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so last question here before we end off.
Mhm.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to the audience in terms of like maybe just advice or just anything you'd like to end off on?
Sure. Okay. Might need a couple seconds to think
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah. Go
Let's
ahead.
see. Okay, I think I got it.
Hmm.
I would say, first off, thank you for having me here. And
Of
then
course.
specifically to the audience, I would say to express your emotions, right?
Mm,
No matter what it is in that moment, how you're feeling, you have to express it because the more we bottle it all up and keep it in us, it's not other people, or no, it does affect other people and it also affects us. But holding it in, for example, like anger, can be so destructive to yourself and
right.
to others around you. And
Right.
I've personally experienced that
Hmm.
within like the past months or years, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And being able to find a healthy outlet for that could be anything, right?
Hmm.
Whatever it is, if cold showers isn't your thing, you don't have to do that. I know Alan loves it, so
Absolutely.
I'm not going to yuck your yum, but just find a healthy outlet that you'll be able to really express that.
Mhm.
And then also, another thing I would say is to love yourself,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Um, so make sure that you're taking care of yourself at the end of the day,
Hmm.
and be able to provide your body with like nutrients, right? So whether it be eating healthier, just going on runs, like even reading. I've been loving reading lately.
Yeah.
And then just exercising, just anything that's really beneficial for your body. Just
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead and do that. Like just love yourself at the end of it
Yeah.
all. And I'm still a work in progress Christian, but
Yeah.
I would say to love God too. And that's because he's done a lot for me. And so I want other people to be able to experience the love that he's kind of shown for me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the perfect Christian. Like I said earlier, I still have so much to learn in regards to that aspect.
Yeah.
So like I may not be the best example of who a Christian person should be, right? Like what an idealized Christian person is. But there is a lot that I've learned through him and a lot that he's shown me. And I feel that like power and love that he does radiate.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to share that with other people. So I still have a lot to learn too. And I'm doing my best in the entire journey. But those are kind of just some key takeaways that I would really recommend. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Alex.
Of course.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Alan. Yeah. It's always so good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And God bless and love you all.